time for Q&A. I guess if you're going to ask some questions, we probably need some people up here to answer those questions. Woo! So, let's go ahead and do it. With no further ado, please help me welcome, you know, Miss Captain Carson Tiva, please help me welcome Paul, Sun, Young, Lee! Woo! You know where they are, please help me welcome Emily Swallow!
Amara!
You know her as the voice and embodiment of Bo-Katan. Please help me welcome KATEE Sackkoff. Am I missing somebody? Please help me welcome, you know, as Bob Gideon. Please help me welcome GIANCARLO Esposito. Hello. Welcome to Richmond. We love you, Richmond!
This place is filled.
One couch?
If you, I'll sit on, everybody sits on
One couch!
Yeah, one couch.
One couch!
Yeah, baby. Is this everybody's first time on a couch?
How do you use this?
This couch. Well, welcome. How have these fine folks of Richmond and beyond? How many of you are not from Richmond?
Woo!
How have these fine folks been treating you?
Pretty great. Virginia is for lovers, right? Every state has that slogan. Every state. I don't hear that about like Rhode Island. Rhode Island is for lovers.
Maybe it should be. So how are you? Like everything's like people are treating you well. Like
Take a picture of the sign with them.
I mean, you get to live in the Star Wars universe. I mean, it's got to be the coolest thing, right? And Katie, this isn't your first go around. You've been with the Star Wars universe for a while.
Are you calling her old?
No.
You guys, it's okay. I've been around a long time. I've been around a long time. Like I've had my SAG cards since 1994. It's a long time.
What was the feeling when going from doing the voice of Bo-Katan to getting that phone call and to reprise that role in a live action form?
She was Clone Wars Bo-Katan.
I mean, it's everything you could possibly think that it was, right? You know, when I signed on to do Clone Wars, I thought that to me that was already winning. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in Star Wars. Like I called my dad. I was so excited. Like I'm in Star Wars. Like I loved it, but I never felt that character because it was at the same time as Battlestar. So when I would go to conventions, people would talk to me about Battlestar, not Clone Wars. So I just always thought that Clone Wars was like for me, you know? Clone Wars is for lovers. And so I just thought it was for myself. And then, you know, going into Mandalorian and going into live action and having like my face actually be her was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. The fan base is wonderfully crazy.
Would you agree? Would you agree you're wonderful?
Obsessed.
And it's so to be welcomed with open arms was such a wonderful thing, and it's just everything I could have dreamed of as a child growing up, being a fan of Star Wars.
Paul, there are articles online about the importance of Captain Tiva and how he is the most important person in the Star Wars universe. Have you seen these? Have you seen these articles?
Yes, I have. And it's about time. No. I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to be able to have a new character with no baggage and whatnot, and to just sort of seamlessly be woven into the fabric of the universe as somebody who's kind of that interconnective tissue between the different shows. And it's a tremendous honor and something that is completely unexpected, because when I was asked to participate, I honestly thought I was going to be buried under 15 pounds of latex and no one would ever see my face, which was fine because it was going to be Star Wars. And I've been a fan since I was 5 years old. And then for the character to develop into what I think ostensibly was supposed to be a one-off, you know, a couple of episodes, and to just sort of earn the trust of John and Dave. And you know, the fans responded well to the character, and inside I was dying because I was so happy. And every time I get asked back again, it's such a treat. I never ask, I never expect, so it's always a gift whenever I do get the call, and I can do it. It's just a nerd's dream come true.
Being able to, again, going on, you know, between multiple shows, Mandalorian, Boba Fett.
Supernatural.
What?
Supernatural.
He was talking in the Star Wars universe. Yes. Simmer down.
When you first got that call, did you think that maybe this was a one-time appearance, or did you think, man, this might have some legs?
I didn't know what I was doing. I barely even knew what I was auditioning for. And I didn't have any reason to think it was an important character, because the only person in the room was the casting director. That was it. I had one audition where I went on tape, and then they asked me if I wanted to do it, and they kind of did well. They said they kind of didn't really know what it was. That's probably, you know, how they were like, well, we don't have that much. But they said, we think this character will show up in a few episodes. We're not really sure. And then I got next to no scripts. I just got my scenes. So I truly didn't know what it was. And I err on the cautious side of cautiously optimistic. So I wasn't, you know, dreaming about like what it might become. I was just really excited to get to go play with the people I was playing with. I was very disappointed that although I saw Giancarlo's name on a dressing room door, I never got to meet him until, I think, while season 2 was airing, maybe, when we met at a convention, finally.
I think so.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I had the best time doing it, and I think it was partly because I really didn't know what it could become, because I also shot all of my work for season 1 before the show was ever announced. So I didn't know that it was going to be a big deal, and I'm so glad. I had so much fun. I didn't have any pressure.
This room is...
a ton of questions for you, but I'm flustered just sitting by the coolest person on this entire planet.
Thank you.
You have it going on. What is your secret to the swamp?
Well, I don't know how to answer that. I'm just me. I think I've just found myself, you know.
He's
I
wearing
have a vision
Star
of
Wars
what I'd
boots.
like to look
You
like,
see his
and
boots?
I try to fulfill that
Looks like
vision.
he's wearing
most
Star
of the
Wars
time.
boots.
I'm kind of old school, so I used to go into my father's closet, and although, you know, he's from Italy, so he had a very Italian style. He's from Naples. And I remember just going down the rack of clothes and feeling the texture of the material, and looking how he put things together. And I think it affected my whole life.
Absolutely. You're definitely the most put together. Like, I was like, all right, I'm feeling good about myself, and then, okay.
You're looking good. You're looking good.
Look, we have a long line of questions. Would you like to take some questions from our audience?
Sure, why not?
All right, hello, what is your name?
My name's Rose.
Hi, Rose.
Hi, so I study theater in college right now, and I was just wondering, like, what's your best advice for aspiring actors?
My best advice is for you to read everything, and to learn about the world, and to read as much literature as you can. Because as an actor, you're going to play a lot of different characters, and you're going to learn a lot about the world and different occupations through those characters. So I say imbibe everything, read everything, and just practice, just do it. You know, if you're doing play, I grew up in the theater, so for me, that was a way to exercise your talent and to, you know, like musicians are in the woodshed, they call it. They're constantly practicing by themselves until they get on that stage, and so it's the same way with acting. You know, you do it on your own, and you hear your own voice, and you look in the mirror and get used to seeing your own countenance. With, you know, it took me a long time not to scare myself when I was in the mirror, and you sort of figure it out that way. But that's my advice. You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi, my name's Lily, and my question was, what was your favorite part of working together on the set?
I've been very fortunate. I mean, I'm going to point out this story with Katie, because I've been a big fan of Katie since Battlestar Galactica as well.
Oh, he's a nerd too. He's a nerd about a
I
nerd.
remember one day on set, because I haven't had a chance to work with Giancarlo yet, and I think Emily, we didn't have.
I'm Emily, yeah.
Yes. We did. Sorry, it took every fiber of my being not to call you the armor. But I don't think we didn't have any scenes together, so I worked with Katie, and in a very sort of tangential way. And I remember we were out and we were shooting in the back lot, and it was early in the morning. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and we were doing walking rehearsal. And that's basically everybody just kind of shows up, and you map out where the director wants you to walk. And it was a scene where all the Mandalorians, Carson Tave is going out to get help from the Mandalorians, and they're all there. And usually it's when you're doing a walking rehearsal that early in the morning, the actors portraying the characters in the armor aren't there. It's their doubles or their stunt doubles, and they've got their helmets on and everything's ready. We're working on the scene, and we do the walking, and okay, it's done. And one of the Bo-Katan character was there, took off her helmet. It was actually Katie. And that totally caught me by surprise. And I actually said, "Oh my God, it's you!" And I remember her just sort of taking a step back and saying, "No, it's okay. I'm normal. It's just And so, but what my takeaway from that was, this is how committed, this is how much she loves doing what she does, how professional she is, and how everybody on that set was like that. They were there because they were professionals at the top of their game. They loved what they were doing. The crew loves what they're doing. The creators love what we're doing. And it's something really, really special to be part of that world where everybody's pulling on that same rope. And so that's one of my favorite, sort of every time I'm on set, I think they can't top the last experience I have, but they continually do. And so like that's another reason why I'm eternally grateful just to be on the stage, to be in front of you all, to be part of this universe. It's a huge honor.
My name's Diana. I was wondering if you had any special memories you'd like to share about working with the late, great Carl Weathers.
Yes.
Thank you.
We love you, Carl.
One of the things that I remember so strongly about Carl was because I first worked with him on season 1, and we didn't have a ton of time together, and I was sort of intimidated by him because he's just, you know, he was a huge presence, and he always had a story to tell, which was very endearing, but also I was like, you know, I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to watch. And then I started getting to know him at conventions, and I started talking with him about, I think like the conversation that sort of unlocked everything was when I was doing a play in Los Angeles, and it turned out he was going to come see it. And so we started talking about theater, and I had no idea that he loved theater, but that showed me, and I continued to see, what an eternal student he was. He was always wanting to learn, and he was always curious, and he was always, you know, even when he was directing, he was very open to hearing advice from all the different departments, because putting a show like that together is a very complex mechanism. And he was just always learning and curious about people, and so giving of his attention in that way, and that really made an impression on me. I miss that.
Thank you.
Hello. You know, Kevin, each of you have brought lore to the Star Wars universe, whether it's the TVs, comic books, figures, and stuff like that. How is it, not as an actor, but as a human, does it affect you knowing that you're going to live on in that everlasting universe. As a user, what does that make you feel? Can it be overwhelming?
It's so cool.
Very, very cool. You know, I'm a 6-point action figure and will be forevermore. And that plastic will outlive me forever. You have something I want.
Let's go!
I think it's kind of amazing as an actor. We work so hard, and many of us come from theater and have done plays, and now we switch back and forth between all of the different genres of television, film, and movies. But the one thing that I think immortalizes you is to be in this Star Wars universe. I mean, it's with deep gratitude that I came to this universe, and we all had a glimpse of it when we were younger, and then to be entering it as a character and as a human being. It's just an amazing honor, because there's no fans in the world like Star Wars fans.
Hello, what's your name?
Hey, my name is Zach.
Hi, Zach.
Thanks for coming to Richmond. I guess my question is, one of the perks of, I guess, this new Disney era is that we can kind of explore stories outside the original sort of Skywalker set of trilogies. Besides your own characters, if you were to come up with a series where you're following a different Star Wars character, which one would you choose? Like, what would you like to see?
Ooh. That means
Guys, I'm sorry. My favorite character is Jar Jar Binks.
Woo! Let's go!
So many, but then others love it. Like, Jar Jar is awesome. Because he tries so hard. He's like a puppy. And we all like puppies. I mean, some of you don't. But we all love puppies.
There's something wrong if you don't.
Yeah, right? And I would love to follow him. I think it would be so
That'd be a cool storyline.
wonderful.
They didn't do a Gungan line.
So what is your opinion on the conspiracy that Jar Jar Binks was actually a Sith Lord?
Anything's possible.
And my dog is Santa Claus. I mean, look, anything's possible, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, now
Maybe
I'm
that's
never-
where the show. Maybe that's
Now
where the show.
I mean, don't you do him dirty like that.
I want all Pelimoto all the time. I want to follow her through her day. I really want the armorer to be a part of her day, but I mean, I would watch that show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
She's the one who fixed it.
Hello, what's your name?
My name's Alexander James, and I have a very important question to ask. I'm sure you probably have read this book, George Lucas and Life by Brian James Jones, and I'm just going to read this paragraph, and I would like your responses because it relates to today's society and entertainment. Where George Lucas says, "I thought we all know what a terrible mess we have made of the world. We also know, as every movie made the last 10 years points out, how terrible we are, how we have ruined the world, how much we are, and how rotten everything is." And I said, what we really need is something more positive. And I realized there was another relevance that is even more important. Dreams and fantasies gain children to believe there is more to life than garbage and killing and all that real stuff like stealing hubcaps, that you can still sit and dream about exotic lands and strange creatures. Once I got into Star Wars, it struck me that we had lost all that. A whole generation has grown up without fairy tales. You just don't get them anymore. And that's the best stuff in the world. Adventures and foreign lands, it's fun.
That's beautiful. I have never read that book, and now I want to. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we have all talked about this with Star Wars, and it transcends. I I mean, this is why it's been around for over 40 years now. It transcends the specifics of the details of the day, and it connects to that deeper part of us that wants to be part of a bigger story, that wants to hope, that wants to be a hero, and I think it definitely unites all of us in that. So thank goodness he pushed forward with his vision for that.
Yeah, George was very inspired in many ways, not only with the Star Wars story, but from the historical mythology of the time, and it's still of our time. I think some of us are just less, we have less access to studying that mythology. But he was a friend of Joseph Campbell, and Joseph Campbell, who wrote A Hero's Journey, The Power of Myth, had a great effect on his life. And it really moved him toward deepening this Star Wars universe, because those mythological stories guide us in our lives. And I think the hero and the heroine story are very important for us to see, because it allows us to identify with that could be me, or that is me, I am that. And so when we start to think about having really fostering and really planting the seeds for a new world, I think we have to look back into some of our great historical mythology to look toward what should guide us. Those stories are mile markers and clues to how we should live and have morality and integrity and commitment and compassion. And I think George was onto it when he created these stories. But there's a bigger picture to them and a bigger focus that allows us to look inside and see where we belong within the greater picture of these beautiful stories.
Good answer.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello there. My name's Dennis, and in a few weeks I'm going to be directing a short film, and I was wondering, what's the best thing a director should do for his talent?
Listen.
Ooh.
Really listen and hear what your talent has to say, and then allow them to play, and then direct your vision, because the director is responsible for the whole vision of the piece. It was a great moment for me when I could be with Carl Weathers, who I've known for so many years, and as a director, and because he was so attentive and he was so aware, and he allowed the dialogue to happen because we want to honor the writer's words, but he also allowed his imagination to soar at all times and to share that with you and to give you suggestions in that way. And that's what a director does. If a director is doing his job or her job, doing it, that's when they do it the best. So it's really to listen. And you don't only listen to the words that your actors are sharing with you, you listen to their movement. You listen to their whole countenance. You listen by looking in their eyes, and no matter what they're saying, you can really see how they feel. If they're tentative, if they're not, if they feel confident or if they don't, if they're nervous, if they're exuberant, you have to calm them down. So that would be my best advice, would be to listen to them and then to see how what they're saying to you through their whole body language and everything else forwards your vision of the story, and then guide them to where you want them to be. That would be my best advice.
Thank you so much. Hello. Hello, what's your name?
Olivia.
Hi, Olivia. What is your question?
I have a question for Paul, and do you feel like the new R2-D2?
First of all, I am so flattered by that comparison.
That's
never,
adorable.
Ever thought of it that way. But I think I will from now on, because, yeah, I'll take it.
He's speechless.
Thank you so much. You just made my day.
That's awesome.
Hey, Olivia, I have something for you.
Come on up here, Olivia.
Oh no, that one's broken.
That's a
You
cookie.
guys, I wish you could all see these up close. I went and read to some fourth graders, and the art teacher made all of these Mandalorian cookies.
Oh, it's a mud
They're
horn.
beautiful. So that
Oh,
one
it's
has
got a
the
crest on
razor
it.
crest on it.
That's awesome. I wouldn't open that.
to your table later on and get an 8x10, and I need you to sign it, the new R2-D2.
It's on.
Do it.
Hello.
My name is Mark. Y'all hear me with this mask?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Miles, and it's an honor and a privilege to meet GIANCARLO, who is also the voice actor who plays El Presidente for Far Cry 6. And my question to all of you is, what is it like to be a part of the Star Wars legacy, and how has it impacted you personally and professionally?
It's a long question.
For me, it's been really, really great, and it's an honor to meet you and have you be here today. You look fantastic. Thanks for cosplaying. You know, Star Wars was something of my dreams when I grew up, and it really allowed me to think outside the box that I could be someone. I could be a hero. I could be someone who lent his whole spirit and continence to saving this galaxy in some way. And so when you enter the Star Wars universe, you really are entering something that dreams are made of. And so it's changed my life. Every day that I live, I feel as if I can draw upon some of the strength and power that is Moff Gideon and transfer that into my life in a good way.
Everyone's going to keep their distance from you.
I know, well, pardon me. And that's okay. Distance sometimes is good.
Clones!
I feel as if, I've learned so much about myself through some of the characters I've played, and I like to control the chaos. But what I've realized is that I cannot control everything. And it's a real lesson for me to learn. Sometimes you have to go with the ebb and flow of the way the water is moving, and you have to become a part of something. So becoming a part of the Star Wars universe has enabled me to think a lot more about who I am as a human being, especially when I walk around thinking that I want you to bring me the child. And when it doesn't happen, I have to think, oh man, let me find another way. It's a lot about how our lives move in and out of themselves, and how we see ourselves in the world which our story is our story, his story, her story. So it becomes really important for me to learn from my vocation and what I do that really tells something about me, so that I can live better and uplift my life as a human being. And so it comes all the way back around to inspiration. If we are able to be inspired by each other, as I'm so inspired by all of the other actors sitting on this panel with me, it's an inspiration. There's a question asked earlier. A lot of what I did was on my own, and then we had scenes where we're finally all together. And those were some of my favorite moments, because then I couldn't control everything. I could control my own rhythm, but then I had to drink someone else's rhythm in too, and allow them to be, and have them affect me. Isn't this a lot about what life is? Yeah. And then to start to listen to what they're saying. It's a give and a take. So for me, it's been such an honor and such a pleasurable experience to move through this world with these great folks.
Thank you so much. So we got a couple minutes left. I think we can get through some more questions. Hello.
My name is Jared.
Hey, Jared.
I'm actually a nurse. So part of my job is actually watch The Mandalorian. Thank you for...
Did you say it's your job?
Part of my job is to watch The Mandalorian.
I like your job.
Because I get to connect with people, talking about The Mandalorian, different characters. So thank you for making it. My question is not related to that though. It's why does Quill look like Ron Perlman?
Or does Ron Perlman look like Quill? Came first. I don't think we have an answer. I didn't design his look. Yeah. I don't
Does that
know.
make you feel more intimidated by Quill?
I have to think about it.
Ron Perlman is a scary mother. Like he could do serious damage.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wasn't Cleo very beastie or something?
Short person over here.
We can hear you.
Hi, my name is Hope.
Oh, now we can.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a question for Giancarlo. First off, I just want to say, like, you were awesome in The Mandalorian. But on a side note, you were really good in The Breaking Bad.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And also, just a quick question: what is something that inspired you in a young age to be an actor?
Well, the movies really inspired me because I could live in another world, not only in this world, but I was inspired by a lot of actors who were so committed to what they did. And I remember early on watching the movies of Sidney Poitier, and he really inspired me because he was a complete, dignified, compassionate human being and a force of nature. I remember watching the movies of George C. Scott, who also had that same feeling. So for me, it was to be able to live a life outside of myself until I could find myself through what I did. And that was a very telling story because I think for me, I didn't have the confidence that I have now. And I have to realize that many of us don't. And so I adopted a saying, act as if. You know, we've all been around people who are very comfortable in their own skin. And when you meet people like that, you wonder, is it arrogance? Is it they're just really comfortable? They're not worried about flubbing their words or making a mistake or saying the wrong thing. They've really linked up with themselves and found their comfort zone. And I always wanted to be that way, but I couldn't be that way as me. So I learned how to be that way through the characters I played. And then all of a sudden, one day, it started to happen that I could be confident in who I am. And not to strive for perfection. Like, we're in a world where we're expected to look a certain way, act a certain way, and have immediate answers. A society of immediacy, because we have a phone, and if, oh, wait a minute, let me look that up. Just give me a second. But that's not the answer that's coming from my heart and soul. Google is not the only answer. And if you don't have the answer, you can say, no, it's the truth. Not to slam Google at all, but when do we come out of our own spirit and come up with what we see as an answer to that question or a certain problem? And that means that we have given our power away to a technology to do it for us. When in this room, heart, spirit, soulfulness exists. And that many of the problems that we're facing, we can solve by coming together and agreeing to disagree and agreeing to find an answer. But if you don't have it, it's possible. We can do it.
That's really good. That's the best question yet.
Shorten it again. First of all, I thank all of you, Giancarlo, Katie, Emily, and you are too, for continuing
R2D2.
Yes, R2D2. Continuing the new Star Wars franchise. Appreciate y'all. Y'all do fantastic. My question's for Giancarlo. As far as like Breaking Bad, Boys, Mandalorian, is Mandalorian your favorite villain? What do you think? Who's your favorite villain?
You know, this question is I always dodge it because I have a feeling about comparisons. And for me as an actor, what I'm doing in the moment right now becomes the most important thing in my whole life. And certainly when I was doing Star Wars, it was the most important thing in my whole life. Breaking Bad was over 15 years ago. Saul is a couple of years out now for me as well. But certainly I had some of the most fun on Mandalorian playing Moff Gideon.
Let's go. He answered the question. That's cool.
I was hoping we were going to get to this. This is going to be the last question. No pressure. No pressure. So what is your question?
Was it hard to learn all the stunts in Mandalorian?
So, one of my favorite things is doing stunts. You know, I grew up a bit of a tomboy, and I loved getting physical, and I was very, like, I was into sports and all of these things, right? And as an actor, to be able to have find this place where I can be who I am, and that's celebrated. Because when I first moved to California, they tried to pigeonhole me as like the dumb blonde, or like the angsty teen, or like everything you can think of a stereotype for a blonde. They tried to put me in that box, and I was really fighting against it. And I read the script for Battlestar Galactica, which you don't know, but that's okay. And it was a character that was so tough and capable, and did so many stunts, and like had all these fight scenes, and she was everything that I wanted to see when I was a young girl on TV, because I wanted to identify with someone. And I felt if I could get this role, if I could just get it, I won't have to play these characters anymore, these characters that I didn't identify with. And I am so blessed to be able to go and do as many stunts as they will let me do per insurance.
Wow, that's awesome.
Which on Star Wars is not many anymore. But the choreography is just like dancing. So any kind of dance that you can take or that you learn is going to help you learn your fight scenes, because it's all memorization of steps. And so I do believe that, you know, that tap dance that I begrudgingly had to take when I was a kid, and that ballet and like all that stuff, I was like, Mom, really? It all helped me to learn cadence and learn how to count and learn steps and things like that. And so it's just repetition, but I love it every second of it. If I go home at the end of the night and I don't have bruises on my body, I don't feel complete.
She's just a big guitar.
So unfortunately, that is our time. Everyone in line, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to count to 3, okay? At the end of 3, I want you to yell out your question all at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Katie, what happened to the KT675 motorcycle from Richmond?
You sold it, right?
Wasn't a clone of Moff Gideon that died in season 3?
So,
Woo! Let's go. Good question.
What I want you to do right now, please stand up. We're going to take a stage selfie. Stand up, stay in your seats, stay in your seats. That way we can see you all. So stay in your seats.
Stand up.
Yes. No, I was going to say. Oh, okay. I was like, wait, who's going to say something?
The manual is in there. I don't know. That window, that armor helmet is amazing. They threw
Yes.
into that.
No, it's not. Correct. No. It's so refreshing.
Wait, where's the camera? Why is he not using the big one?